All right. Well, welcome to tonight's live event. I'm Kate Johnston, Director of Instructor Programs here at Tunelark, and we are delighted to have Michelle Coder with us this evening. Before we jump into Michelle's fabulous presentation, I'd also like to remind you that Tunelark is offering some gift cards. It's a great time for you to give the gift of music for the holidays, and if you want lessons, you might want to hint to somebody to get you a gift card. So, welcome to this presentation this evening. We are delighted to have Michelle with us. She is a very seasoned music educator and instructor at the university level, has taught all levels of students, and she really has done a lot of deep dive into how to teach young children with video chat lessons. So, I'm going to ask her to take it away. She's got a lovely presentation for us, and then I will be watching the live stream chat to see if anybody has any questions. I'll be happy to curate those at the end if we have time. Thank you. Go ahead, Michelle.
Thank you, Kate. I'm excited to be able to share what I've been doing with my students. I'm going to go over some of the challenges first that I ran into when I started to teach children who were pre-K and were not reading yet to about second, third grade. And these are the students that need assistance from their parents. And so I sometimes the parents aren't available. And so I started thinking, okay, how can we facilitate them, their access to media, their access to materials that they can manipulate themselves and give them some of their own autonomy from their parents so that they may be able to practice a little bit more. So I'm going to just jump into the slide deck because we don't have a lot of time, and I'm going to open that up right now. And let's see, are you seeing this now, Kate?
Not yet.
Okay, so I need to share screen.
Yeah,
All right.
there we go.
Okay. Loading. Should have loaded it. So one of the challenges that you run into with students who are pre-K to early elementary, some of the challenges are that they need help reading messages, directions, and text in learning materials often. Even the children that read don't read at, a fifth grade level, which most curriculum is written in. So you would need to help them. They also need help using phones, iPads, or desktop computers to practice. And sometimes these children don't have their own device. And so they have to borrow a parent's or a sibling's device. And that can also lead to some problems with practicing. They also need help accessing most media to practice. So YouTube, email. If I emailed the parents the materials, they would need help accessing that email, downloading that email. They would also need help printing the learning materials. So these were all roadblocks for them to be able to practice. So I thought, wow, what do we do? They also don't feel comfortable sometimes asking their parents for help. And that's because some of the parents who are choosing to do online instruction with their students are also working at home. And so the children have been trained not to bother their, parents while they're working. So I find that I'll say, well, didn't you ask your parent to, print that material that I sent in the email? And they said, no, I didn't. And then I find out, well, they just didn't ask the parent to do it. So that's another reason we need to find some way to give them a little bit more autonomy. So a young child's unique needs when you're in an online learning environment is that they need their learning materials in one location. So everything needs to be in one location. We can't be sending them different files of things and then having them print them out. And than having them go to a learning site, another learning site, except for Tunelark. And it complicates things when they have to use a lot of different locations to find their materials. Also, they need an easier way to control the digital learning materials. I've also found that with the young children, because they're not often uh, readers, good readers, that they do better with video or audio instructions, and they practice more if they have fun, engaging video tutorials. Also, you want to engage the child with appropriate learning materials. Sometimes there are karaoke. I curated some karaoke off of YouTube, and it really isn't being presented in a child's voice. It's an adult, or it's a man singing who has a very low voice. So what I did is I began trying to find materials that used children's voices, so that they are not only hearing their voice in the right register, but they're also getting to see children performing. And they really liked that. They really liked to see children presenting the materials. Also, they really enjoy synchronous activities during Zoom lessons. So any way that you can create shared materials that are shared through Google or through Tunelark, where you can both manipulate the materials, they really like that. Also, with singers, you need access to accompaniments during the Zoom lesson. And that's because there's a lag in a Zoom meeting. So I can't reach over to my piano and accompany them. They wouldn't hear the accompaniment in the right time frame. So what I have to have them do is play an accompaniment on their side. Now, I tried using Accompaniments, which I love to use with my adult and teen students, but it's too complicated for a younger child to access that. I think they could be trained to use it, but again, if the parent is too busy to really work with the child on an ongoing basis to train them, then it becomes another roadblock. So what I found was that it works better to use video tutorials as the accompaniment. So if they play the accompaniment that I've created for them in the video tutorial, usually with words, then I find that they have a lot more fun singing in the lesson, during the lesson. Also, you really need to do gamified music fundamentals activities with them. They don't have a really long attention span, and they're active. And so anything you can do to get them out of their seat, doing some kind of activity, or something that's visually stimulating. Also, what I do a lot is I'll put a really funny thing, like the minions cheering, or I'll put something cool like fireworks going off, and I'll put that at the end of the video. So for the tutorial videos or the vocal exercise videos. And what I find is that they will watch the entire video. They'll want to do and stay engaged with the entire video because they get to see that fun thing at the end. So there's little tricks that you can do to keep them engaged and motivated. So what was my solution? How did I solve this problem of engaging the kids and giving them the kind of materials and media that they could manipulate themselves? I started using Google Slide Decks. So the first thing that I do is I have a slide in the slide deck that is a message board. And on this message board, I remind them how they have to use this Google Slide Deck. I've made them an editor, and so we can both use it at the same time synchronously. They will have to use the slideshow mode to view the videos, and then edit mode to move they have to use edit mode to move their transparent PNGs. And I use a lot of transparent PNGs for activities. So they can't move them when they're in editor or when they're in slideshow mode. They have to click out of slideshow mode and go into edit mode to move anything. And then I say, let me know if you have any questions. Now, I also put great job, I'm really excited. You can play with both your hands when I do piano, or you're really starting to feel the where to put the sound in your face, in your um, up in the head voice. I'll put some encouraging comment in here and or some additional directions. Then what I do is I have an assignments index, and what I've done here is I've just put learn and practice physical warm-ups and strength builders, but what I would do is use this like a practice journal. So for body warm-ups, if they have an assignment, I would say what that was. Okay, do butterfly exercises or check your posture before you sing. Songs, I would put the new song and then say practice your old songs. So this will be their practice record that tells them what their different activities are that they need to do that week. Then they're linked, because this is a cool slide deck that I did not design. I actually purchased this, I actually purchased it, but you can get free Google slide deck templates. So in this one, you can click on that and it's going to take you to that part of the slide deck. Now, this is really convenient because people don't like to scroll all the way down the slide deck all the time. So this takes you quickly to where you need to be. So in the slide deck, I can put a picture. And what a lot of my younger kids do with this one, which is really interesting, is they try all the different postures. It's really cute. And so the first thing they do when they start out is they try all the different postures, and then they go to the good posture. And I say, whoa, that's wonderful. And then there's these little exercises I found that are for children that are help strengthen the muscles in the back, help strengthen their arms and open the chest, which is something we need to work on for singing. So these are really nice, and they're fun, and they have neat little pictures on them. And you can also put a video in here if you need a video tutorial. And then I can embed video tutorials, which is wonderful. I have put these on YouTube. So you have to have a YouTube channel. And what you do is you just make a video, and I use different video platforms. I use Camtasia, WeVideo, which is really, it's a free one, and it's actually really cool. And Filmora Wondershare, which also has some nice animations, and that one's free. So those are just some easy ones. You can also video yourself on Zoom and download that and then edit it in another platform. So I do these, and I have a little introduction. This is the stomach breath exercise. So I put that little introduction in at the beginning of each of my videos. And that way it sort of creates some anticipation. They're familiar with that. One of the things with children is you really need to do things that are familiar so that they hook into this process. They like familiarity. I don't know if that's how to pronounce it. Gosh. But they like that. They like familiar things. They like to, it's like, if you have a child, they watch Beauty and the Beast over and over and over and over and over. Okay. So that's the reason that I put those little titles in there. Then for vocal warm-ups, and I can go back if I want to the home, to the assignment page, and go to click here if I want to. So here's vocal warm-ups and vocal techniques. So this would be vocal exercises, vocal techniques. And you do want to do vocal techniques with young children. But what I've done is I've started making animal sound vocal technique exercises. Or we do monthly thematic types of activities. So this week would have been the farm. And so I make my vocal exercises be farm animal exercises. That keeps them a lot more engaged rather than just doing, a scale on the piano, la 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 la, or something like that. In other words, we're doing meow meow, and like a cat, and then meow. So it's another way to keep a young child engaged because it's fun, and they're still doing the vocal exercise. It's kind of like tricking them into doing it. And then, they have those fun little things you can put on in Zoom. So I did that because we were doing a pig noise. Also, you can do tongue twister videos. They love that. And of course, you could do this just, on Zoom and with the piano, and then have them, like you could do, I didn't have my piano on. You could go, Mama made me mash my M&Ms, your turn, and then they sing. But I think it's a lot more fun if they're playing this on their side and then they're singing along with it. And it just has I found for them, for the younger kids, it's a lot more fun for them to do that. They don't really like the taking turns thing for very long. Then you can do accompaniments, video accompaniments. You can also make the accompaniment. I should have practiced that word before I did this. That you can also just put the words on there, or just get a karaoke and take the visual off of it, and make it like an MP3 file, but you make it an MP4 file so they can play it like a video. They don't seem as adept as playing MP3 files. But I have started loading those onto embedding them in the slides, and that is easier if they can click on that. But they like the visuals too of the video. Then, because My Favorite Things is kind of a hard song to remember the verses to, I made this little sorting activity for them so they could learn the lyrics and what the order of all the different favorite things are. And so what I'd have to do is push escape, and now I'm in edit mode. I'll go into edit mode here. And so now they can move these PNG files around and put them in the right order. So raindrops on roses. Let's see, where's my rose? Right there. So I'd put my rose that raindrop on roses and whiskers on kittens. And so you want to try to see how fast they can do this. You can make this a speed game if you want. Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens, like copper kettles, right? Okay, so they sing through it like that. And then the other thing I work a lot on with songs with younger children is thinking about the words. What do the words mean? What is a bright copper kettle? Because they don't always have that experience. They may never have seen a bright copper kettle, right? So this is a little bit of a vocabulary lesson, and it's a great way to encourage literacy. And I found that some of my younger students, like 5-year-olds, I have one 5-year-old, and the younger ones that are learning to read, I think this has accelerated their reading because they're starting to read right now after about 4 months of lessons, three or 4 months of lessons, because they're always engaging with words and lyrics and images that represent those words. So that's a really important part of learning literacy, is identifying what that word is as a picture in your mind, right? All right, going back to, let's see if I saved this. No, did I? Okay, I'm going to have to load it again. But here are my slides. If you see the slide deck here, you see how this works. And then they're linked. The slides are linked through the index. Now you can't, in edit mode, you can't do the links. So you'd have to go into slideshow to be able to use the links that move you through the slides. Yeah, you know, it's interesting with literacy when you're teaching literacy. And this is another selling point for voice lessons, is that it does increase literacy for young students. Also, you know, I was trained as a bel canto, you know, opera singer. I was sort of told by my teacher, you know, you shouldn't really have serious vocal training till you're 16. But when I started teaching at a local music school, I got a lot of younger students that wanted to sing. So I have found that teaching vocal technique to younger students is actually very helpful, because by the time they have gone through puberty and their voices are ready to sing at a higher performance level, they actually have acquired quite a bit of vocal technique. And so they make really fast progress. So I do encourage parents to have their younger students take voice lessons. Okay, after you go through the vocal warm-ups, maybe I already did this. Oh, no, I didn't. Okay, this is part of our farm theme. And again, I'm choosing videos that are age appropriate. They're something they might sing in school. And so this one particular group does uses children. So again, that's an example of using children singers. And they are also in this particular group, they, I think it's called Love to Sing. They are singing in their head voices. So if you're working with children that are young, you want them to sing in their head voices, because if you just have them sing in their lower range, they're not going to acquire a pitch sense of how the voice moves through the different areas of the face. So it's very important to have them sing in their head voices. Now, Moana, I had a student that was doing this. And so what I did is I slowed down the song because it's really fast. And that allowed her to have more time to sing the words and understand the words. And I put the words in the video so she can see the words. And it was like night and day, where she was struggling with the karaoke version. She sang this with her little heart, all her little heart, and got everything, got all the words and the melody, and it was really effective. So you might have to slow things down for them because they don't articulate as effectively as an older child. And then this is the karaoke. So once she learned the song, then she could sing with the karaoke. Okay, music fundamentals. I do cover that with the singers. And this is a real important thing that singers kind of get left behind on. I guess when I was in college, it was like the singers are the ones that are the worst at music fundamentals, because they are not taught music fundamentals generally in their classes, in their lessons. So it's really important to teach music fundamentals. So what's really exciting here is that you can link Tunelark classrooms to this. And Kate showed me that. I was so excited to find that out. So here is one of my students' Tunelark classrooms. And so they can just go right to that from the slide deck. So that was very exciting to find out. And that is a perfect platform for teaching, gamified music fundamentals. Also, this particular slide deck came with some music fundamentals activities, so you can put them into the slide deck. Also, if you want to, again, do the edit mode, you can move these notes around on a staff. One of the things that's really important to remember when you're making one of these slides is that you need to make this part of it the staff. When you put a grand staff or anything on it where they're going to be putting notes onto something, you need to make sure that the grand staff is a background. So you've embedded it as a background. You don't want to put it in as an image, because if it's an image, they can move it around. But if it's a background, they can't move it. So you only want to have movable elements be the things that they're moving around. Kids will start playing with it and they'll stretch it all out and make it weird. So you just have to make sure that you use that background. All right, I also do sight singing with my younger students, and they love the hand signs. They get challenged by, learning those, doing them quickly. So this is a doe a deer slide deck that I have, which I wasn't supposed to click on. I was supposed to go to the next up at the tab, but I did it. So it's going to take a little time here to load. Let's see if I can go to the other one. There we go. Okay, so in this slide deck, what I've done is I've put all of the hand signs. And one of the things that's very important is the hand signs. When you have students that are learning how to sight sing or match pitch analytically rather than synthetically, so there's something that is preventing them from finding pitch, then you want to teach the Kerwin hand signs as a kinesthetic placeholder. Like this is where you hear, middle C. This is where you hear D. This is where you hear E, and go up the face. So what I did is I have a face here on the side, and then the hand signs go up the face. And I found that this is a really effective way to teach intonation for children and adults who are having problems matching pitch. And then there's that. So if you have this as a slideshow, you could have doe a deer a female, you could have that running in the background. They could be playing that, and you could be going through and clicking it. And then I think I also made a tutorial video that used these as images that they could sing with. Okay. And they like simple. I'll go back to that really quickly. I'm probably running out of time here. One of the things that I've found is that they like simple images, especially if you are working with children who are dyslexic or have learning differences or have problems tracking. And you run into that with younger children a lot of times, and they you don't want a lot of busy stuff on there. You want to have it be real simple so their eyes go right to what you want them to look at. And you don't want to use you want to keep the text simple. So the font that you use needs to be kind of simple. They're learning to read, so the simpler the text, the font, the better. Okay, I also talk about how the body works with young children, and they love this. They really love this. And Dr. Binox is a really fun, animated, child-centered explanation of the different systems of the body that we use. And so I focus on the parts of the body that we use to sing with. We actually use our whole body to sing with, but respiration, that's very important. So when we talk about breathing, I'll have this linked in so that they can learn about breathing and why when I'm referring to parts of the body, lungs, open your throat, the larynx, they understand what I'm talking about because they've seen it. It's really important for children to see the things that you're talking about so that they can form an image in their mind and link that with the vocabulary. Okay, activity pages. Um, I started these as sticker pages, and these are PNGs that you can move around. So because we're doing the farm, I put these on here. And if you were doing these as stickers, you could have a section over here on the side where you take them off the page, and then each week they get a new sticker. Or you could put a new sticker on every week. That'll probably be better with a younger child. But Kate brought up something when I was showing her this. And if you were doing, I could actually link the vocal exercise to each of these animals. So if we clicked on the pig, it would go to the pig vocal exercise. Or you could do something else about like low voiced animals, high voiced animals. So you could use this for instruction as well as a reward system. So many thanks to Kate for that. I also have a song and lesson archive. So the reason I do this is that the slide deck gets longer and longer and longer, and young children like to revisit things that they've done. So, they like to sing old songs, or sometimes they say, well, where is that information about the lungs? And if I've removed it off the deck, then they don't have access to that. So what I did is I have an index here of the things that I've moved to this archive, and then they have a link that will take them to that archive. So this archive is actually another slide deck that I have in my Google Slides. And so this is one of my students' slide archive.
Just so you know, we're a little past 30 minutes.
Okay, well, I'm almost done. Okay, so then let's go back to that. And you can also do, there's a lot of curated games on that people have made with Google. And so this is a Jeopardy game that you can play, and I won't go into that because it'll take a while to load. But if you have any questions, this is my information. And this was made with a template created by SlidesGo. And what's nice about SlidesGo's templates, you can get free ones. The sort of cooler ones are the ones you pay for, obviously, but they also do all the attributions for the images that they've put in the different design elements. They will do that for you, so you can make sure that you're doing everything appropriately. And I think that's the end of my slideshow.
That's great. Well, thank you so much, Michelle, for sharing all of this hard won, and it takes a long time to learn all those things and to put them together, but it's very inspiring when we see what it's done for your students. I was thinking earlier this evening that if I had a little one and they were taking lessons like this, I would be so excited, and just to see them engaged and enjoy it. But that's because you have such a great attention to the age of the child, their development, what they're interested in. So thank you very much for sharing that. And it's
You're
going to be
welcome.
exciting to make this available to other people to learn from. And it's a pretty special part of teaching, is just to help people not have to do that particular part of the hard part as they learn something else new. So,
I
so
hope I hope it helps people come up with some of their own ideas, some of their own creative ideas.
exactly, it always does. That's great. Well, thank you so much for doing this, and we look forward to more presentations of your work.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. All right. Bye bye.
Bye bye.